What if I told you, there's a real village where people simply stop dying? No hospitals. No funerals. Just men and women quietly growing older, without ever getting sick. Science tried to explain it. They failed. This is not fiction. This place exists. And its secret might change everything we know about life and death. The village where no one dies, a medical mystery science can't explain. In the hidden folds of the Pyrenees, nestled between towering peaks and thick forests, lies a village untouched by time, and seemingly untouched by death. This is Buggerac, a real village in southern France, known to some as the village where no one dies. And while it may sound like folklore or fantasy, there's a peculiar scientific and medical curiosity here that continues to baffle researchers to this day. The village time forgot. Buggerac, a village of just under 200 residents, has stood for centuries. It's named after the looming mountain that towers above it, Pic de Buggerac, also called the upside-down mountain, because its geological layers are reversed. The rocks at the top are actually older than those at the base, a rare and puzzling formation that has attracted scientists and spiritualists alike. But there's more than geology that draws attention. Over the past few decades, whispers began to spread, stories of elderly residents who simply didn't seem to age, of a cemetery that hadn't been used in years, and of a community where funerals were so rare, they became village-wide events. Local records show something odd. Between 1970 and 2010, there were fewer than 5 recorded deaths in the village. Statistically improbable, even for a small population. Coincidence? Or something more? The biological anomaly. In 2012, French scientists and anthropologists conducted a quiet study of the population. Blood samples, DNA testing, and environmental analysis were collected from several long-term residents. What they found was strange. Many residents had abnormally long telomeres, the parts of our chromosomes linked to longevity. Their cardiovascular systems appeared younger than average, even among villagers in their 80s. Rates of cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, almost non-existent. One case in particular stood out. Jean-Pierre Duffert, a retired shepherd, was 92 at the time of the study. His biological markers suggested an internal age closer to 60. He had never been hospitalized, never taken prescription medicine, and still walked 5 kilometers a day through the mountains. Jean-Pierre's response to the researchers? It must be the air, or the cheese. The air, the water, the earth. Researchers began testing the environment. The air in Buggerac was unusually clean. With no industry nearby and a higher-than-average concentration of negative ions, often linked to mood elevation and vitality. The water, flowing from underground springs, was rich in selenium, magnesium, and other trace elements associated with longevity. Soil samples showed high levels of beneficial bacteria, many of which are commonly found in longevity hotspots like Okinawa or Sardinia. Even the local diet had its secrets. The villagers consumed raw goat cheese fermented in local caves. Herbal teas made from wild plants like thyme, rosemary, and meadowsweet, all known for their anti-inflammatory and circulatory benefits. Very little processed food. Most meals were cooked with olive oil, garlic, and foraged greens. A mind-body connection. But Buggerac's secret wasn't just physical. There was something else, something harder to measure. A calmness. Villagers lived without the constant hum of stress that defines modern life. There was no rush. No traffic. No internet in most homes. Children played outside until dusk. Elders weren't sent to nursing homes, they were honored, included, engaged. And perhaps the most astonishing aspect, a village-wide belief in protection. For centuries, locals believed the mountain itself held mystical energy. In fact, during the 2012 end-of-world panic, thousands of people from around the world flocked to Buggerac, believing it would be the only place to survive the apocalypse. Locals laughed it off. But they admitted. Yes, the mountain does something to people. It keeps us alive. Science versus superstition. To be clear, Bugarak is not truly immortal. People have died there, just in very small numbers. And statistically, outliers do exist. Maybe this was just a rare convergence of good genes, clean living, and chance. Yet, as more scientists returned over the years, they found similar anomalies in other longevity zones around the world, from Hunza Valley in Pakistan to Vilcabamba in Ecuador. In all these places, common threads emerge. Isolation from industrialization. Clean environment. Plant-heavy diet. Strong community ties. Sense of purpose and spirituality. Bugarak fit the pattern. But it was the lowest death rate per capita recorded in France for decades that kept the mystery alive. A village in danger. Ironically, the very fame of Bugarak may be threatening its magic. In recent years, tourism has spiked. Airbnb homes have popped up. Developers eye the mountain for commercial use. Cell towers have been proposed. Locals worry. Jacqueline Moreau, 78, a lifelong resident, puts it simply. The more the world comes in, the less we will have of what made this place special. In 2023, local activists began a campaign to preserve the village's unique ecosystem and traditions. Not just for cultural reasons, but perhaps, for humanity's future. Conclusion: what if the answer is simpler than we think? Cut to sunrise over the mountain, bells ringing in the distance. Maybe there's no miracle. Maybe the answer isn't buried in DNA or hidden in water molecules, but in how we live. A life with less noise. A life with community. A life with connection to the land, the food, the air, and to each other. Bugarak might not be a place where no one dies. But it might be a place where people remember how to live. Is Bugarak the last secret of longevity? Or just one of many forgotten whispers of a slower, wiser time? Whatever the truth may be, it reminds us, perhaps science doesn't always need to invent miracles, sometimes, it just needs to recognize them.